Hello, welcome. We are Sornia. We are here to assist you, to guide you, to give you inspiration, to hopefully give you that insight that you need to make your journey through the earthly existence more meaningful. And also, and for many of you, let's say more productive, where you feel more successful, you feel less lost, you feel found. That is our purpose. We love you unconditionally, and therefore we want that all of our messages are shared with all those willing and open to receive them. We want to talk about your existence as an essence, and how does it happen that you come into the earthly existence. To understand that, we want to be able to talk about how that process of separating yourself in a sense from oneness in order to begin your individualization into an element of your soul, a facet of your soul, a ray, if you will, that will enter into this existence. When you are home, let's say, when you are in your existence outside of the earthly plane, there are many, many realms. There are many levels and layers. It's quite vast. It is not as dense, but there are dense areas. You feel your connection to what you call oneness. You feel connected to everything and everyone, that you are all of the same source. You feel that, you know that. It isn't something that eludes you or you question. And what happens when you choose, but you are still an individual within that oneness, in a sense, okay? There's a choice that the soul will make for separating itself in a sense. Remember, you are still connected to oneness, but there's this individualization that occurs. You will take a part of you with oneness and begin a process on an energetic level to, we don't like the word separate, but you will become more of an individual with a consciousness and awareness of what it is that you are planning. You have stored in you, you call this your essence, that essence of who you are, or some call it your soul. So we'll interchange essence and soul as we speak here about this beginning time. In that process, there are many other beings and beings of light, the ascended masters, a multitude, endless number of beings. Everyone connected, but still individualized. You will have a grouping of enlightened beings. You call them the masters, those that have ascended and have no longer a need to incarnate in human form. You are part of a grouping of them. Let's say they are there always as your guides. So every soul choosing this journey here on earth has a grouping of souls that are ascended, that are no longer in need of a journey on earth, that are there to assist you. Along with that, you have other souls, enlightened beings also, who are still continuing on their journey. These are oftentimes what you call your soul family. Your soul family can be very extensive. Some of you, it can be into the hundreds. As you journey through life on earth, many of you create relationships that are new on the soul level, that these individuals then become part of your soul family. So you see, as everything it evolves and it continues on. But primarily, your soul family is the grouping of souls that you were more or less created at the same time together. That is your soul family. To really simplify it for you to have that understanding. So there will be certain individual beings in that grouping not intending a journey on earth, who then will sit. We don't really sit because we are energies, but you can. In future times, we will talk about the existence, what it's like in the non-physical. But for now, just know we come together and we review what you have done in other incarnations, not just your incarnations on earth, but that's your primary focus, but your incarnations and what you have learned, where you originated, that all comes in a huge file for you to understand in human terms. So all of that is brought together and there is a review of that. You are in charge. As this process is going on, understand that you are becoming more individualized. Energetically, it's a process that you are separating or releasing some of your soul essence to become more individualized while you are consulting and reviewing your journey on earth. At that time, you will decide with the advice of these, we'll call them elders. The ascended masters are truly elders who have gone through the experience. You will say, this is what I feel will be important for my journey. I did not deal well, for example, I did not deal well with abandonment and loss. And I feel that better understanding of abandonment and loss would serve me and bring me to a more compassionate place. So what you will do is you will look at ways in which you can experience it. So you will go through all of this, and it's a fairly thorough and lengthy process, but it's an enjoyable one. And you design your journey based on those desires. And there are a multitude of desires. As you all know, just your journeys are all different. So you will sit and you will be advised. Now, some of you will say, I want to do, your list will be very long because you feel you can have all of these experiences because you're anxious for the growth that you will get. In that moment, we may look at it, or your grouping will look at it and advise you. You are always in charge, but they will advise you to maybe let some of the other things behind or wait for another opportunity. And you will either listen or won't listen. It's not quite that way, but again, we are using your language to express ourselves. At that point, if we feel, along with you, that you are ready, we then look at where you can go in order to do what it is that you want to do and how that can be designed. We call this a blueprint, and you call it that as well. It's an outline of what your journey is about. And in that moment, you are in preparation for your incarnation. So your family of origin and earth sense may still be several years away from having you become part of their existence, but you will already be preparing for that. Because in human form, you know you have time and we do not have time. So in that process, you are strengthening your understanding. You are looking at your skills. You are refining your journey, but you are choosing where it is that you want to go. And this leads us into an area that we want to discuss in further detail with you in our next session. But what happens is that information, as the soul that you are, begins to form what we call your subtle bodies at that point. So you may be several years out before your actual descent. You say descent, we say just kind of moving over into the earthly existence, your appearance into the earthly existence. That would be better to say. But your subtle bodies, in particular, those that contain the blueprint of your existence, begin to form around the soul that you are. That includes that individualization. So you see, it is a process. It's not that you incarnate and it all comes together. It is very well thought out. It is a very intricate and finely woven design by you primarily and by Creator or Oneness, however you want to say that is. So we want to go into what that experience is and at what point you choose to come into your incarnation, what happens. And then our next time, we will discuss the subtle bodies as they are known in human form. But as you are beginning that incarnation, your subtle bodies, in particular those that are connected to the earthly plane, are becoming, for us, more solid, more defined, more a part of you. And that's the process that is taking you into that human form, into that incarnation that you have prepared. And your subtle bodies of the etheric form, the emotional body, and the mental body are much more defined than you would understand months before you are actually conceived. So we want to leave this here so that you can mull this over, give it some thought. What does it mean? Are there things that are triggered within you? And on next time that we come together, we will elaborate on your physical existence and incarnation. Let me tell you that there is so much unconditional love for you. We tell you that every time. We cannot tell you that enough. We want you to feel it with each message, for there is a vibration attached to each one of these messages. Something else we will go into with more detail. But know that every message that you listen to here is working with you on an energetic level in your physical form. So open your hearts and allow this experience, that of love, to come in so that you can feel refreshed and renewed after listening to us. Thank you and goodbye.